friends, so I was just hanging around and got an idea why to not make a video on a geographical chapter, that is the resources and development, first chapter in the 10th class NCERT geography book. So what is resources? Resources is a thing that is useful for us and can be used to satisfy our needs, provided it is economically feasible, culturally acceptable, and we can just extract it. So that is known as a resource. So resources can be classified in two bases. One is on natural and human, and the other one is on the basis of ownership, exhaustibility, and all and all and all. So first I'm gonna just differentiate it or segregate it on the basis of human and natural. So the natural resources are classified into renewable and non-renewable. So friends, before I explain you this table, I'm going to tell you that it's in your 10th class geography notebook and it's on the first page, this one, the table, because you might not find it in the in-text. So it says that natural resources can be classified into renewable and non-renewable. So the renewable one can be further classified into biological and continuous. So the biological ones are like wildlife and natural vegetation, etc. And the continuous is like the wind energy, the solar energy, the thermal energy, and the wind energy. Okay, so I think you have understood what is the renewable part of the natural resources. Now let's go on to the non-renewable part of the natural resources. It can be classified into recyclable and non-recyclable. Recyclable is the one which we can use again and again, like metal alloys and even stones, which can be used again and again. But non-recyclable are the ones which once we use, they are exhausted. For example, coal, natural gas, etc. Now I think that you have understood the natural sector of this classification, and now let's go on to the human sector. So it composes of structures and institutions, quality and quantity. If a person is healthy or is mentally capable to do something, then it is known as quality. And if a person is none of these, then it's known as a quantity. So in India, we can be a great human resource if each person of our country is educated, because we have quantity but not quality. So quality and quantity are very two different things. If a person is mentally capable and physically strong, then it represents the quality sides. And other people which do not have these two things or any other talent by which they can be a resource to their country, their nation, then they are known as a quantity. And some people come into very different type of category, that is the exploitative category, like the terrorists, the thieves, the robbers, etc. So I'm going to take a quick quiz. Okay, tell me which is a resource or not. A robber? No. A thief? No. A airplane? A driver? Yes. And everyone who does some work and has a mental or the physical capacity is a quality and is hence a resource and not a quantity. And then structures and institutions. As we are humans, we have some brains, we will set up some structures and institutions which are going to help us. So this come in the second part of our segregation. So you see, this is how we segregated the resources on the first type. Resources can also be classified on the basis of origin, exhaustibility, status of development, and basis of ownership. So first we are going to concentrate on origin. So on the basis of origin, the resources can be classified classified into biotic and abiotic. Biotic are the resources which are made up of living things and which have life in them. For example, humans, animals, etc. And the abiotic things are which are made up of non-living things and do not have life. For example, rock, wind, etc. Next is on the basis of exhaustibility. On the basis of exhaustibility, we can classify the resources into renewable and non-renewable. The renewable resources are the resources which can be renewed again by mechanical, chemical or physical processes once they are exhausted. For example, solar energy, wind energy, heat energy, thermal energy and tidal energy. And non-renewable resources are the resources which once exhausted are exhausted and cannot be reused or bring back with physical, chemical or biological processes. Those are known as non-renewable resources. Example, natural gas, coal, etc. It can also be classified on the basis of So on the basis of ownership, the resources can be classified into four. One is the individual resource. As the name suggests, individual resources means that they are owned by individual and are in the private hands. For example, your house, your car, your bicycle. And the community, it is owned by a community and is free to public. For example, parks, railway stations, theaters, malls, etc. And then national. The resources owned by the nation, whether they are human resource or natural resource, those are owned by the national. In addition to 10 nautical miles, in addition to 12 nautical miles from the boundary of the nation till the sea is also known as the national resource. And before you get confused, it is given on page number 2. So till 12 nautical miles in the sea, also the resources of that area would be of the country. Then I talked about the international resources. The international resources are the resources which are free and are controlled by the international organization and are after 200 nautical miles from the exclusive economic zone. So these are known as the international resources. So I think you've got to know what are these resources, classification of resources on the basis of ownership. Now let's go on the basis of status of development. So potential resources are the resources which have the capacity to develop but have been not developed till now. For example, western parts of India, particularly Rajasthan and Gujarat, can have solar and wind plants which have not been properly developed till now. So this is a potential resource because we are lying in a tropical region. So reading from the book, resources which are found in a region but have not been utilized. Again, resources which are found in a region. So resources which are found in a region. For example, we are a tropical country, so the wind and the solar energy can be derived from us. So resources are found in our region but have not been utilized. So the government has not set up those plants like the solar plants or the wind energy plants to utilize us. So resources which are found in a region but have not been utilized are known as potential resources. So I think that you have understood the potential resource. Now going on to the developed resources. Resources which are surveyed and their quality and quantity have been determined for utilization. The development of the resource development depends upon their technology and the level of feasibility. So I'm going to take line by line to explain you better and better. So resources which are surveyed and their quantity and quality had been determined. So for example, I'm going to take up the solar energy in India. So the resources have been surveyed. That means how much solar energy could be derived, what money would be provided to them, what money would I earn, what would be the benefits for the people. So resources have been surveyed and their quality and quantity has been determined for utilization. So their quality and their quantity has been determined for utilization. So if the quantity is less, quality is good, we might not take the resource, because in that the investment would be more and the returns would be less. So the quality and the quantity have been determined for utilization. If the quality is less and the quantity is more, then also we might not take it out. So the quality and quantity of the resources are surveyed. So first they are surveyed. Then next thing it says is that the development of the resource depends upon the technology and the level of their feasibility. So if we want to develop the resource further, it depends upon technology. So if more technology will come, we can develop the resource further. So that means if small wind systems come, then we can utilize this wind resource even more. If disposable wind systems comes, then we can utilize it even more. So it depends upon technology and their level of feasibility. That means how can we just use the resource. Their level of feasibility is also a main factor for their development. So survey, quality and quantity determination, and then we have for their development we need technology. If new technology comes, more development. If less technology, then less development, and their level of feasibility. Then comes our stock. So reading from the book, I'll say, I think that you have understood the developed resource. Now taking a look on stock. Reading from the book, materials in the environment which have the potential to satisfy human needs. But so stock are the materials which have the power or the potential to satisfy human needs. For example, taking the example of again energy in India, they have the potential to satisfy our need of energy and need of electricity in our homes. So it can satisfy that of our needs. But we do not have appropriate technology to exist these. So but we do not have technology. For this we have the technology, but for that we don't have technology. For example, some of the uranium found in Ladakh is also a type of stock, because we have the potential, they have the potential to satisfy our needs, but we do not have the technology to do it. So for example, the example given in book is that water is a compound of two inflammable gases, hydrogen and oxygen, which can be used as a rich resource of energy. But we do not have the required technology, know how to use them for this purpose. So we do not know how to use these. We do not have that technology, that's why we cannot use them. So reserves are which have been surveyed, which have their quality and quantity has determined, and their level of development would depend upon their technology and level of feasibility. The potential is when we can develop it, but we are not developing it for some other reason, for lack of resources maybe. And the stock is when it has the potential to satisfy our needs, but we do not have technology to access it. And then comes our reserves. So I think you have understood what is a stock. So I'm gonna remove it from our list as well. Now come the reserves. Reserves are the subset of stocks which can be put into use with the help of existing technical know-how, but their use has not been started. This can be used for meeting future requirements. River water can be used for generating hydroelectrical power, but presently it's used to a limited extent. Thus the water in dams, forests, etc. is a reserve which can be used in future. So it's a subset of stock. That means it's a, if I say in terms of English, then it's a past form of stock. That means we have the technology to do it, but we are not doing it for some reason. But it can be used in future. We have the capability to use in future. For example, the river water is not being used for hydroelectricity these days. It is used for a limited extent. And so that is why it's a subset of stock. Now I think that you have understood what is reserves as well. So friends, that was enough for the day, because I wanted to just, give you an introduction of the chapter and classify resources. And if you want to know more about this chapter, see my next video please.